Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a great, festive period, whatever you celebrate. And also, are you off work? I'm not. I'm actually filming this in my lunch hour. I'm working in the Twixmas period, but I do have the first week of January off, so I'm quite excited about that. Anyway, I never do what I got for Christmas haul, whatever you want to call it, because I don't exchange a lot of gifts with a lot of people. But this year I got a few little bits and I thought it might be nice to share. And also to kind of check in with you guys on this channel to say hi, ask how you're all doing. I've been vlogging throughout, but I know that not everybody watches everything that I post, so I did want to post something here, and this seems like a good excuse. I don't know how you guys have been feeling. I'll know when you comment, but I don't know right now. I have been feeling really weird, and I saw someone post something about how the time between Christmas and New Year is really like angsty for them. I totally get that. I feel the same way. Like, it's just, I feel off. I don't feel right at all, which is why I'm perfectly happy working between Christmas and New Year, because I don't want to be wasting my annual leave on that weird feeling. I think we're all kind of overstimulated and a little bit overwhelmed after being forced together for it's a nice time. You could have a great Christmas, but you still feel a bit like, and I think post-lockdown as well, we feel even more like that because we were so separate for what felt like quite a long time, that a lot of us still have a strange kind of dread about social situations. And I'm a very social person, but I have this like new anxiety after being in social situations, not post-pandemic, I know that's the wrong phrase, but since the pandemic began. So if you're kind of feeling that way, I get it, you're totally not alone. I also wrote a blog post about this with a little tip that my mom gave me when I was a child that I feel like will work quite well for you guys now. Anyway, let's get on with it. So I really only have gifts from 3 people to show you, and they were pretty much all a surprise. Like I say, don't do a lot of exchanging of gifts. My daughter bought me some presents this year, which was lovely. My husband surprised me with some things, and my friend Emma, if you were watching Vlogmas, we did like a 12 days of Christmas like little presents, and hers culminated in one big present, which I will show you. In fact, I'll show you that first because it's kind of relevant to some of the other stuff that I got. She got me a skincare fridge. It's one of those things, like I keep a lot of stuff in the fridge. I keep a lot of like eye masks. I keep like roll-on things that are supposed to be like cooling and depuffing for your face. All my face masks I keep in the fridge, but I was never going to buy myself a skincare fridge. It felt like, it's just frivolous. It's an extra thing that I just could not justify buying. Now I have it. It's funny. I was opening some of her things, and one of the things was a sheet mask. So I opened them, put them in the fridge as I was vlogging. Opened this and was like, well, immediately can take them out of the kitchen fridge, put them in here, and they can be in my office, which is really fun. So now I have space. The top here fits my sheet masks rather nicely, and then I've got my eye masks in the bottom. I love it. I could also keep some snacks in here for while I'm working, but right now it's still a skincare fridge. So thank you to Emma. I absolutely love it, and I absolutely would not have purchased it for myself. Between Emma and my daughter Ella, which could get confusing, I got a lot of sheet masks, some of which I've already used because I love sheet masks so much. I've actually I was watching someone the other day, she's called Simone Scribes. I don't know if that's still her name, but that's what she was always known as. She was on YouTube, had a blog. She's kind of forayed into skincare specific stuff. And I was watching her the other day, and she was talking about how she uses a sheet mask. And I'm trying to be better about it because, like she said, if you leave it on for longer than it says, it's kind of doing the opposite effect. It's draining the moisture back out. So she said to always put it on a damp face. So now I always keep my essence, which I put in a spray bottle. So I spritz my face, put on the sheet mask, only leave it on for 10 minutes. Difficult to do for me. Take it off and immediately moisturize. And all of these things I like to keep nearby so that I can do this as like a quick facial rather than like, before really I was just putting on a sheet mask because I could just leave it on for ages and it felt like something that was a bit passive, whereas now I'm using it more as an active, like I'll get out of the bath, I've done my cleanse, I'll do like maybe a toner or a serum, then I put on my sheet mask after doing my spritz. I take my moisturiser downstairs with me. After 10 minutes I take off my sheet mask, put my moisturiser on while I'm watching TV, and the best part of that is that I've got then maybe like an hour or two for it to all absorb before I go to bed, because I'm quite a fitful sleeper, so I'm finding that to be quite a nice routine in the last few days. I mean, let's be real, this is not a long-term thing, this is since Christmas. But yeah, it was a very skincare heavy Christmas, because also Ella bought me this. She knew I talked about this before and said, again, could not justify this. I'd bought it once before, I'd had a sample, loved it, purchased it, loved it, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive. It's the KHIELS Powerful Strength Line Reducing Concentrate, the vitamin C. I talked about this at the time. A few of you bought it and loved it the same, but again, there's just so many things that I really, really like it. It makes my skin feel great. I see a difference the next day, and I think that it's good for my hyperpigmentation and just general brightness. But it's so expensive. It's so expensive. So expensive. So I was very, very thankful to receive that. She absolutely should not have. Lee bought me, this was a real surprise, Lee bought me a perfume, the Gucci Flora. I think he must have heard me talking about this. I bought a rollerball of it while we were in Florida, but I think he must have noticed me talking about it while we were in the airport, because I spritzed some then. We don't I don't talk a lot about, it's not dropping hints because we don't do Christmas presents, but I love it. It says it's white gardenia, jasmine and pear blossom. And if I'm honest, I already knew this, but it reminds me so much of something else. It's either the Nicki Minaj original perfume that's like a body, or one of the Ariana Grande perfumes. I know this devalues it because it's a Gucci perfume, but it's so reminiscent, and it's very long lasting for me. So I feel like it's still worth buying the Gucci version, but it really reminds me of one of these celebrity perfumes that I've had in the past. I love it so much. It's kind of like fresh but sweet, a very kind of spring summer fragrance. It's floral, of course. He also bought me this, which I haven't had time to play yet. It's the Hogwarts Legacy game. I was waiting forever for this to come out on the Switch, because although we've got access to other consoles, the Switch is mine, or my Switch is mine. It's a bit insane, actually. Milo's got one, Ella's got one, and I've got one now. We've become a Nintendo family. I've always been a handheld person. I've always had whatever iteration of the Nintendo handheld is out at the time. I love handheld games, like personal gaming. But the Switch is, I mean, I don't need to sell you on the Switch, but the Switch is so fantastic because you can have both. So if I want to put it on the TV, it's literally just dock it and I play it on the TV. If someone wants to come in and watch TV with me, I take it off, put the things on, and I can continue playing the same game. I love it so much. So the reason I wanted it on the Switch is, if you've got kids, you'll know the minute you start playing something that is theirs, they suddenly remember they want to play it again. So I wanted it on a console that was mine. And Lee and I are going to play this together because he's the real Harry Potter nerd. But I thought it would be a fun, we used to play Tomb Raider together way back when. I thought it would be a fun kind of like adventure game that we could play at the same time and like trade off the things that we enjoy doing. So I'm really excited about that. And lastly, this has become kind of a running thing. Not running, not an intent, these are not running shoes. That wasn't an intentional pun. Kind of a running thing that for any gift giving season, he will buy me a new pair of Stan Smiths. I wear one pair of trainers and it's these, just Stan Smiths. I've considered buying like expensive ones in the past, but they're basically the same design as this. Like designer trainers, unless you're going to go for like the actual running shoe style, they all kind of fit this same style. I don't know why I would, because these are so much cheaper. You can buy them for not a lot of money. You can get them for like £20-25 if you drop one in the sale, especially if you're a size 5 like me, because often you can get them in the juniors. And you don't pay tax on kids' shoes. Maybe you know that, maybe you didn't. So yeah, once every year, maybe even more than that, I get a brand new white pair, and then they just are run into the ground and I get a new one. That sounds super wasteful as I say it, but it's true. It's true. So that's what I got for Christmas. I'm really happy with my little haul. It's all things that I would use, all really unexpected, very grateful. And like I've said a million times before, I'm not into the forced gift giving. I don't like the thing of like giving for the sake of gifting, going and buying the 3 for 2 because you have to tick off 150 people on your list. I do enjoy gift giving. I enjoy receiving gifts, but I don't ever want someone to feel like they have to. So if you've been through that period of difficulty this year with like, you know, this was a hard financial year, I didn't want to have to buy for all of these different people, maybe float the idea. We're a year out now. Float the idea with your family. Do like a Secret Santa or a really limited budget, or better still, just eradicate from the list. Just be like, well, we're only doing close family, or we're only doing kids, whatever it is. Because especially at this current moment, most people can't be affording to buy for the sake of buying. So it's a good, it's a good time to start easing into that conversation. I don't exchange gifts with very many adults these days, really at all. Presents in birthdays, stuff like that, that's totally different. I'm talking Christmas. Christmas is insanity. If you've got a big family, that's too many people. Different for kids, but it's too many people, too many adults to be buying for just for the sake of ticking them off a list. If you enjoy it, great. If you can afford it, great. If you all love the thing, but there's a chance that someone in that mix is struggling and could do without it, so maybe consider a different way next year. Like I say, 3 people this year. Even with my mum and dad, I actually gave my mum and dad a book each that I'd heard about for years, and I kept meaning to do it. I was talking to my brother about something this year, and he was saying how my dad knows so much about my grandma, and we don't really know as much about him as he knew about his mum. So I bought them these books that are called like Dear Mum and Dear Dad. I'll link them for you. You can get them on Amazon. They're not expensive. And it's got like a question on each page. And the idea is that they will be asked a question, like, what's your earliest childhood memory? Or like, what did you think of me when I was growing up? Or what job did your dad do? That kind of thing. And they can fill it in whichever ones they want. There'll be certain ones that maybe aren't relevant or they don't want to answer. But it's a whole book of questions that they can answer. And I think it's going to be a really, really nice thing if they do it. Like I said to them when I gave it to them, no pressure. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If you want to fill out one, if you want to fill out all of them, it's just a nice idea. And also it's a way of having their handwriting as well forever, which I thought was nice. So yeah, that was it. We didn't exchange anything else. I did nothing with my brother. I am very much practicing what I preach, I swear. But yeah, I hope you guys have had a nice Christmas. Like I said in the beginning, it's a really strange time between Christmas and New Year. It's stressful leading up to it, and then afterwards you're a bit of a, what is life? So if you're not, just, it'll be over soon. Next week, you'll be back to it as if none of it happened. Fresh start. We're going to definitely do something about the new year. I was thinking maybe a live, maybe on New Year's Eve. Check on Instagram because I will talk about like times and stuff, because I definitely want to do that on New Year's Eve. I've made some plans, I've made some goals. They're not resolutions per se, but I thought it'd be interesting for us all to chat together because it might give other people some ideas. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me for another year, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.